Hello and welcome to our Cricket Chatter Live once again. And this time we are going to discuss about a little, uh, I must say, the WPL Women's Premier League that is going to start from tomorrow. And I'm really happy that we are having our special guests who follow religiously and rigorously WPL. So let's welcome Julie ma'am. And I think Julie ma'am doesn't need any kind of introduction, though still I'm giving. She used to play cricket, and then I think still she plays cricket. If I'm not wrong, and she's very much an avid reader of the cricket. She loves WPL. Even she's the one of the great colleagues that from cricket to she's one of the engineering brand which she's doing her PhD from IIT. Welcome, Julie ma'am, and welcome to this show.
Thank you, Saurabh, for having me here. Glad to
Thank
be
you,
here.
ma'am. Yes. Next, I would like to add Vaishnavi ma'am.
Hi,
Hi,
Saurabh. Nice to be here. Hi.
thank you so much, ma'am. Ma'am, actually, you are a lawyer by profession. You love cricket and you follow WPL like I think very less people because a person who's a lawyer and then we know exactly how tough it is the profession of lawyer because my dad is a lawyer. I know it. So and then you're following cricket and that too the WPL is one of the niche. I'm sure in coming years it will be a big brand worldwide. So welcome to our show. And then next, I would like to add Mr. Mohit. Mr. Mohit is a known face to the WPL, not only Women's Premier League, it's the Women's Cricket, and we know exactly that he is an ex. He worked for ESPN also and for other firms, and he is an professional sports journal. Welcome, Mohit bhai, and to our show, and I'm really happy to like we have Julie ma'am, Vaishnavi ma'am, and Mohit bhai. Now let's introduce to Vallabh, who doesn't know, whoever comes to our show, we know exactly what Vallabh is. Vallabh is a very young boy and love cricket, a Sarich fan, and he was actually a little disappointed that Sarich, if I'm not wrong, WPL doesn't come with the Sarich. Is there? So yes. So I would like to start with our panel, our guest, that how the first year WPL when it was started, we all know that it's gonna to be successful because before that there used to be 3-4 matches in between here and there, and it was a huge success in India. Second year we came with the WPL, and it was really an amazing to see how people have come out and watched the match when other, and it was just started because of whatever reason it is, but board has come up and started. Second year, how exactly you see the first year to second year WPL? I'm starting with Vaishnavi.
I'm hopeful that it'll be several times as fun as the last edition was. I think all of us can agree. I think that the first edition was a lot of fun, surpassed most people's expectations, at least from a casual observer perspective. Even the eyeballs of the games managed to get the quality of the cricket and the number of people in the stadium. Also, I think generally it was just a high quality product, and now it's even better that they have expanded. The BCCI has gone out of Bombay finally after spending 2 years playing every single women's cricket
That
game
was the
in
three
Bombay.
places.
And we are at least seeing it in Bangalore and Delhi. The other parts of the country, hopefully down the years, we'll see more matches and we'll become like the IPL wherein we tour. Um, yeah, I mean, I think, and I also, in particular, hope for, I think, more standout and better performances from our domestic talent. We know what the internationals can do. They've been doing it for years across the state, but I'm really hopeful that we'll see some domestic talent really shine this year. Let's say like how Sri Lanka and Saka did, but many times that number.
Nice, ma'am. Thank you. Same question too. What is your expectation this time, ma'am, from the first to second, and how exactly you see the first year was actually a game changer? So many places, I think first year was always a tipsy we or very slow motion, but I think our WPL first was a very rock star kind of stuff, and we saw exactly all foreigners. The way that Healy had a problem with the Indian journalists and became the fan of the Indian people and around. The entire combination has changed. So, what exactly your expectations from this WPL, Julie?
I think I quite agree with what Vaishnavi said, that let us hope that the second season is bigger and better. Though I'm not quite happy that the WPL has moved out of Mumbai completely, because I am a Mumbaikar. I wish it would have been like a Mumbai Delhi, or say Mumbai Bangalore.
But we are happy. I'm from Bangalore. I'm very, very, very happy. I must say that I can go and watch. Come se come.
Absolutely, absolutely. But like for people maybe out of Mumbai, I'm happy for them, because I think I'll not be very greedy, because we had England and Australia coming to Mumbai, and we had a lot of good time going to the stadiums and watching those matches. But yes, on a serious note, I feel WPL, absolutely, I think it is not too far from becoming what men's IPL has been for India. We are still in the nascent stages, just the second year of WPL. And I think a lot of domestic players I am expecting to come out of good, as Saika and Shriyanka, they have already done and they have made it to the Indian team. Let us hope that more and more players from the domestic cricket, they come up the fore and make it to the Indian team as well. And apart from this, I feel that since now the WPL has moved to a different state, we can say there are two states. So let us hope more and more people come and watch the matches, because these girls, they need motivation. Because I can say from a player's perspective that when I used to play at the domestic level, we had to play in front of empty stands. And from the first hand experience, I can tell you that it is not a very good experience. So when you have crowds coming in, when they have people cheering for you, you get that extra energy to perform better, to play better. So I'm hopeful that again, just like last year, we'll have more and more crowds coming in, cheering for the girls and encouraging them to play well.
Thank you so much. I'm coming back to Mohit Bhai. Mohit Bhai, what do you think exactly? What is your experience in the first year as a journalist and second year as a journalist all together? Exactly how you see the vibes, how exactly stadium conditions, how exactly last time we heard that the entire stadium was not open, something like that is happening. I might be wrong because in test matches and all what happened, the entire stadium was not open for everyone. That was actually unfortunate. We all must go and watch the matches, and the stadium should be open. What exactly you think? What was the first, and what is
Yeah,
the expectations this time?
yeah, I think like you rightly said, especially for the matches at the Wankhede for the Australia and England series, not all the stands were open, which wasn't the case at DY Patil. So that was a little sad to see because especially in Mumbai, there is a lot of demand for women's cricket. We saw it at the WPL last year. The final was played in front of a full house. There were a few other Mumbai Indians matches which had great turnouts. So I feel like Bangalore also has a great cricketing culture. You only need to like go there at the Chinnaswamy during the IPL to see how much they love RCB and how much they get behind the RCB team. So I expect Bangalore to again turn out in great numbers. Again, I don't think like all stands are available for the public based on what I've seen on Book My Show, which is kind of sad because I feel like every stand should be available. You can price the tickets a little higher if you want for some stands. But coming to the tournament, it's very important for not just the Indian domestic players this year, but also the ones who are already in the Indian team because the T20 World Cup is coming up in September and this tournament is going to be key to determining India's 15 for that tournament. So a lot of players can make their case. Like Vaishnavi said, Shriyanka and Saika both got their opportunity, made a very good debut in the England series, took three first. And also for the overseas players, for somebody like Kizzy Wong, who's not in England's T20I squad, this is a great opportunity to like firm up her place in England's World Cup plans. So yeah, there's a lot to play for not just the Indian players but the overseas players as well.
So we have got a question from Miss Maitri, it seems, on YouTube. I'm just showing it here. Uh, this is a little harsh, but again, I think exactly uh, one of you three or one all you of three can talk about this with your own perspective because this question is a very perspective kind of question. So please give your answers in your own way. What is your expectation? Is this correct scenario at this moment? Are we going? I'm sure Matthew wanted to say that locals are not getting local domestic players are not getting that opportunity or the limelight the way others are other international players like Hilly or the they got the opportunity. What exactly you think? This is correct, this is wrong, or this is just a statement and people might not watch WPL that regularly?
I feel like, see, as far as the number of locals and overseas players are concerned, those numbers are set. So that'll either be 7-4 or 6-5. I think what she's probably saying, this is just my guess, is that some local players aren't playing the kind of roles they play for their domestic sides. But then if you also look at something like the IPL, a lot of players don't play the roles they play for their domestic sides. So that is a little hard to do. Like, for example, if you take Mumbai Indians, Amanjot Kaur and Humaira Kazi both bat in the top four for Mumbai and Chandigarh. But that can't happen for Mumbai Indians because you can't make Harmanpreet Kaur or Nat Sivaprant bat at 5 or 6 because that's not optimum utilization of resources. So I think that is the way of looking at it. And for people like Amanjot and Humaira, they've learned a lot just by getting to play all of Mumbai's 10 games last year. Like, Humaira has gone on to captain Mumbai. She's captained West Zone as well. Similarly, for Amanjot, she's made her place more or less in the Indian team in both the shorter formats. So I feel like that kind of exposure, just being in the same team as Nat Sivaprant, Harmanpreet Kaur, Haley Matthews for 10 matches in a row, getting to train with them every single day is great exposure. The reason Shreyanka Patil got so many opportunities was because RCB didn't have a great bowling attack or because their foreign players weren't delivering. So that also is a factor when it comes to the opportunity the local players get. Like, if you have the chance of opening with somebody who's a proven performer at the international level and somebody who's still coming up through the ranks, especially in such a short tournament where 2 or 3 early losses can like harm you a lot, everybody's going to go with the senior international player because ultimately every team here is there to win. They do try to develop players, but that happens on the practice ground,
I think
not
this is the
in the
franchise cricket's
tournaments.
reality, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, I think one more thing is given that there are only 5 teams here, we also need to keep that in mind, right? I mean, you look at 5 teams, of which let's say 4 or 5 are internationals from a playing 11, depending on the permutation combination. And then you have what about 15 to 20 in the Indian team and on the periphery of the Indian team. Those again are distributed amongst those 5 teams again, which essentially means for a pure domestic talent, you don't have a lot of slots. And therefore, I mean, and like Mohit was saying, right? I mean, the international players are going to take precedence. I imagine, and this is I think one of the problems with having only 5 teams is that you don't necessarily develop your domestic talent. At this point, it's a platform to showcase the women's game, and it is more of a marketing thing, which I mean, I do think is also important. It is important to bring eyeballs to the women's game and show how the kind of quality that these players are capable of. And so therefore, I think you would need maybe a couple of teams more, 2 or 3 more, to actually tap into your domestic reserves and for them to then sort of bring their quality to the match. Which I mean, I like we were looking at I think Jinti Manu also, right, last time, and she was basically most of her contribution to the team. And this is no slight on her. This is not a remark on her. Was by way of fielding mostly. She bowled a few overs, I think, and she appeared in a lot of Instagram content, um, which is unfortunately what happens when you're in a team full of superstars, right? Both international superstars as well as Indian internationals. Um, so I think the team that had the most opportunity to do this was probably the Giants because they have a lot of railways players, I think, by default and because of their management, I guess.
I think another Mumbaikar is very happy. Sarvesh is our one of the panel members always, and he's like so happy. He wanted to join today, but unfortunately he had some work. That's why he didn't able to join. He does work with all those back end work. You say the mind brain. He creates the slides for us, and he's saying that absolutely he's saying correctly that stream is overflowing with the quality today. Quite obvious it is that with the knowledge, the way discussion. But one thing I would like to add here with Vaishnavi ma'am, that it is pretty easily said, ma'am. Jo dikta hai, wo bikta hai. So either it is women's cricket, boys cricket, and or the men's cricket. What I found out one thing till the last year to the last year, even though I follow cricket rigorously, I hardly seen or heard about the under 18 level, under 16 level, under 19 level, or under 23 level, or the domestic level of cricket that much. The way this year I heard in last 4 months might be possible because all the WPL team scouts, they were all together and they pushed the pressure on them. So when it comes to the scene now onwards, I think everything needs some time to bloom. And Julie ma'am, can you please give spot a light on this, that how we can go ahead and
Actually, actually, just
and
wanted to
we
make a point on what the question was asked by Maitri. Probably one more idea that probably some of the team managements can use going ahead into this WPL. I beg your pardon. Is that if, for instance, we had a team like Mumbai Indians last season, they were winning, I think 5 or 6 matches on the trot. They had won, so they were in a comfortable position to qualify for the knockouts. Though I know that only the table topper get to play the final, so it is important to be at the top of the table. But in case if you are in such a situation that you know that you are going to qualify for the knockouts, why not try somebody like a Humaira Kazi, as rightly Mohit said, that who plays at number 4 for Mumbai? Probably try her at number 4 instead of say Harmanpreet Kaur or Amelia Kaur or Nat Brand who comes in there. So I think there was a lack of experiments done by some of the teams that we saw in last WPL. And if these WPL teams, they tend to do these experiments, if they know that their position is going to be secure at top 3, who are going to qualify for the knockouts, probably they can have newer players or the domestic players, give them chance, throw them under pressure, and let us see if they can do well. So probably that way you can give these domestic players some chance, I feel.
But one of the very known person is the PBS. He's a push. He's a engineer and as well as he's a statistician. He loves share stats on Twitter. Whoever there on stat Twitter, their mutuals must know him. So he's asking a very good question that, like, I think earlier also, I think Vaishnavi ma'am and you ma'am has already discussed that. Do you think the WPL should be extended with the more teams and the more stadiums? Like we discussed, we started with this discussion only that more stadiums has to be followed, and the number only 5 teams is not going to help us in terms of Maitri's response. That until we have a more team, we may not get into that more generous talent or the domestic talent, because we have the 4 and 7 combination, and most of them 20-25 people we already have in a pool for India, main Indian team and all India BCA. So if so, you exactly when we can expect this 5 to 8 or 10. So I don't think so 10 is that possible at this moment. But what do you think exactly that when you can see the 5 to 8, that number we can expect, because the window also has a little bigger. Mohit bhai,
I
when
think
do you
for eight at least it will take a few more years, because just looking at the gulf in quality when it comes to the Indian domestic level and just the level of play in the first season of the WPL, a lot of players found that transition very hard to make. So I think 5 to 6 is a better way of going, which they can probably do in the third or fourth year, because another 12 players, 12 Indian players getting added is something that can be done right away. That there are a few players on the domestic circuit who deserve to be in the WPL, are high quality, but haven't gotten into the tournament this year. So 6 is a realistic target for now. In a couple of years' time, like already in the last 12 months, we've seen a lot of WPL effect on domestic cricket. We are seeing higher scores. We are seeing higher scores being chased down. So if we give them a couple more years, there will be a lot of more players who will start playing a more aggressive brand of cricket, who will have more learnings from the WPL to share with their state teams. So I think maybe around 2026 or 2027, we can look at a 8-team WPL.
So this particular stuff has come. I would like to go ahead with the Julie ma'am and Vaishnavi ma'am. This particular question, and think exactly that it is really connecting India, because we all love cricket, and WPL, if getting the way it is, and it should be the plan for the next year, I'm sure exactly that it will be connecting more and more audience. So exactly what is your thought on that particular topic, that how exactly we can, the BCCI can ensure that it will be more connected to individuals. I'm individual and individual fan I'm talking about. So how they can do it.
I think one of the questions that PBS asked was probably taking WPL to other cities, whether that is possible or no. So I feel that having covered domestic Indian women's cricket for quite some time, I feel that if you look at most of the players in the current Indian team as well, they are coming from small towns. For instance, we have our own skipper Harmanpreet Kaur. She comes from a town called Moga, which I'm sure many of us were not aware before Harmanpreet Kaur became the captain of the Indian team, and whatever she did in 2017, the heroics of her and everything. So I think taking cricket, women's cricket especially, to grassroots, probably that could derive more and more audience, create more awareness about the game. Because I think the common notion is that the girls at the grassroots or in the, say, tier 2 or tier 3 cities, they do not play cricket. That is a common notion, but unfortunately that is not true. We have many girls coming from there. Also, Shefali Verma comes from a very small town in Haryana. So again, we have many of the Indian stars coming from smaller towns. So I feel that if you take WPL to smaller cities, I'm not sure whether there is cricketing culture present there, but if I have to draw parallels with what men's cricket is facing right now, a test match is happening in Ranchi. A few years
Yes.
back, you would not have imagined a test match happening in Ranchi. So if
Or
in men's
indoor in the
we can
stuff.
have that, why not in the WPL, I feel.
Absolutely, absolutely, and we can see exactly that the way. See, what I personally feel, it is cricket, any sports. If the fan doesn't come out, if the stadium is empty, and you need a sound box to ensure that people are getting goosebumps, the way it happened during that COVID times, it doesn't work. So I think Vaishnavi ma'am wanted to say something on this, so please.
I think it's important that, and I mean, that we acknowledge in India that the power centers of cricket are shifting to the tier 3, tier 4 cities. You don't see that many people coming out of Bombay, Bangalore, Chennai, whatever, whether it's men's cricket or it's women's cricket. That is the reality. But if we talk about women's cricket in particular, I think there was a series in, I think, 2018, wherein England toured India, and this happened in Guwahati, right? Um, and those matches saw very good crowd. I think a great way, I think, of actually getting more people looking at women's cricket in general is also to go to places where they don't see a lot of, say, men's cricket. And this is a cricket hungry country. You play cricket, people will come and watch it no matter what. We are seeing Legends League, we are seeing Road Safety League, we're seeing all of that happen, right?
And now
And
it
there
is
are
happening
crowds
some
for those.
40s, some 40s plus ka cricket is happening somewhere. I don't know. matlab, In Dream 11, I saw, and I was seeing, checking the number. I said, what 40s? India 40s versus Sri Lanka 40s. I said, what's going on? But at the end, I think winning matters. The team keep winning. Anyone, I think more than a cricket. Also, I think we're the sports hungry nation where exactly we always. Even I remember the time '96 when Leandro Pace won that tennis bronze. Nobody even thought exactly we're gonna win anything, and it was one of the you may say that the medal we received in that scenario. So it says that the sports hungry we are, cricket hungry we are, but somewhere down the line we always want to win. That's not possible, and then we talk about the trolls and all. And this is a very important question. This is out of the league question I'm going to ask. So many, although we have a very good questions we have received, but before that, how? Because I am sure Mohit bhai or Judy ma'am or Vaishnavi ma'am, you guys have even talked to the ground level sports persons. Can you please let us know that the way men cricket or the boys cricket handle trolls, how women cricketers, because we saw the posts and all coming out from Alisa Healy or other players, they heard a lot. So how exactly women cricket team players handle trolls? Because you know why I'm talking about this. This is a very, I think, somewhere down the line issue with India and the Asian country where exactly we even don't know sports. We talk something that absolutely not acceptable. So how they handle? I would like to go ahead with Mohit Bhai here, and then the same question will be for the all of you three. So
I
Mohit Bhai,
think somebody like Juili would be better placed to answer this, as she herself was a domestic cricketer. But based on whatever limited interaction I've had on this topic with current cricketers, I feel like a lot of them just choose to abstain from certain forms of social media. Like they don't use it when they are playing tournaments or when they know there is a lot of heightened interest around what they are doing. So either they don't use the platform at all, or it's their social media manager who handles it entirely. Some
now
players do enjoy
shall I add something
social
here,
media.
Mohit Bhai? mean, I
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
add
sure.
one more point, one more level. Let's point one more level. So when we're talking about women's cricket at this moment, top 10 or top 11s are the player most of them knows. We know 10, 12, 13 players like us who exactly even follow the Indian women's cricket team. But what about those who are in a bench strength? They also कहते हैं ना कि गेहूं के साथ गुण भी पिसता है. So what about those guys? I'm not talking the Harmanpreet. I'm not talking the Mandana. They don't care because they are now stronger or Julandi. I'm talking about those who exactly has joined like a year ago and basically on a bench of playing here and there, they're losing and then they get trolled. How they handle that? Because I'm sure they don't have managers to handle their because they yet to be into that position where they can manage the managers and all. So,
Yeah, fair enough. Like, I think then it depends on the individual. Some people enjoy it, they engage, they sometimes like hit back at the trollers with their own sharp comments. I remember Yastika Bhatia once did it, which was quite something. A lot of them just withdraw and don't use social media, or they use a platform like Instagram where you can like have more control over the comments or block people or hide comments. So it just then boils down to the individual, I feel. And in fact, like UP Warriors this year have done a campaign where they like did a trash can thing about putting comments from trollers into a trash can, which was quite good to see. So I feel campaigns like that do help the players, and WPL is a good platform because all these players can also talk to the seniors, those top 10, 12 players you spoke about, and get advice from them on how to handle social media, what works, what doesn't work, when to like take a step back, what to do to prioritize their mental well-being. So I feel like for things like that also WPL plays a key role because every team will have a media manager would be like a pro at handling these things. So just taking that person's advice can help the players in a big way.
Julie, you have played the game, and I just want to hear from you when you used to be troll, not in that situation, but again, how you exactly used to handle the troll, or disbelieve that you are not able to get into the place where you want it to be. That is where that's where we all play, like district to state, state to national, national to international.
Hmm.
How exactly, irrespective of any kind of gender, how you handle that and how exactly you can connect with the troller and respect.
Saurabh, fortunately for me, when I used to play, there was no social media at all. So that
That's
was
what
way
that's
back
the
in.
reason I told
So I'm
you.
very fortunate. It was between 2008 and 12 when I played for Mumbai. So fortunately, there was no social media, and we had a good bunch of cricketers. So we used to entertain ourselves. So we did not depend on any social media for our entertainment. But yes,
Very
coming back to the question that you have. So whatever interactions I have had with the domestic players, especially I will talk about the Mumbai senior women's team. So some of the players, they were quite upfront and they told that they have access to their phones during the tournament only for an hour in the day. That's it. Just for an hour, the team manager gives them their phone. They can call their parents, friends, whatever they can do. Just for an hour, they have their access to phones. I think if more and more states they try to do this like a curfew kind of a thing, it will be better not only for the players to handle the trolls or whatever activities that goes on in the social media, but also keep them more focused on the game. Because on the contrary side, I would not like to name the state here, but I visited I was a part, I was covering rather one of the matches in Thane that happened at Dadoji Konde Stadium. One of the state under 23 teams was playing, and the local team manager from there, she came and told me that these girls, whenever they step into the bus, they just ask us to switch off the lights and they want to sleep. She could see the sleep in their eyes because the kind of mobile usage that particular state under 23 team girls they were using, that was enormous. They had no control on the usage. So I feel that if it's like you have to probably just train, how we have in a circus the ringmaster is there, probably you have to be like a ringmaster, the team manager. They have to have the access to the phones and probably just give them limited access. So probably by doing this, the players will not get attracted to social media and probably will not be affected by the trolls that they have.
that's wonderful. What is your thought process on this, Vaishnavi ma'am?
I don't know that there can be a one size fits all for dealing with trolls. I think each individual is very, very different. And this goes beyond India. This goes beyond gender of the cricketers. I think when you
Yeah,
look
yeah,
at
yeah,
a
yeah,
lot of these,
100%.
right? I think when you look at a lot of these very social media heavy user cricketers, like for example, Kate Cross and Aris Hartley, they get trolled a lot. They get trolled. Even yesterday or day before, I saw a comment saying, I don't know why I have to pay taxes to watch this show because they're on the BBC, right? And I think at some point of time, when you are as accomplished as them, or even if you're not, I think individuals deal with these things, I think, supremely differently. I mean, look at Virat Kohli's approach to social media versus, let's say, Ashwin's approach to social media, right?
That's why the reason,
So I
Vaishnavi
mean,
ma'am, you said if you're the top 10, top 12, especially in the women's cricket, then it's fine because you know how to handle it. But when you are new, when you are fresh, because we can see in Indian men's or any kind of men's cricket, generally 14, 15 years old doesn't play the internationals. But when it's a 14, 15 years old, you're playing internationals and people are trolling you for XYZ reasons. I'm not talking about the guys or girls who were trolling. It's very different kind of mindset. You are very, what to say, very innocent. And suddenly you see something that you never expected because you got the limelight. So nowadays, or I think that nowadays though we are sports psychologists, so many things are there to handle. But generally, what do you think exactly that they should be handling or how they should handle, especially the girls who are just started coming out of their age to play 14, 15 and playing international or the WPL or BBL, whichever side they go to play. So how exactly they will handle it? 18 plus, I understand. 19 plus, 20 plus, they're top 10. They are going through so much things. But again, when you are 14, 15 playing for the first or second year, you're not even class 10th student. So what exactly you think exactly? Because why I'm asking to you this specific question, because you are a lawyer also, so you know exactly why I'm using the word age, why I'm using the word like the first, second, third years, because it's pretty tough to handle that particular mindset.
yeah, I mean, I imagine if you're very young, like you're saying 14, 15 and all, you probably shouldn't be on social media, very honestly. I mean, and I say this not for cricketers or sports persons, but general human beings. I
But
mean, yeah,
nowadays, man,
I know.
irrespective of anything, 10 years old kid, they have
Yeah.
there because they want to connect on Instagram with the like the stories. So that's a very different kind of ball game.
I imagine you would need more parental or guardian supervision over this if you were that young, because this is a more serious issue, right? I mean, then it's simply the fact that these people are
I'm
not.
sure we can start talking we will have a one specific session on
Yes.
this, because I have seen people and the kids, they don't eat food until you will not give them the iPad. Leave the phones, iPads and all, they need it or else they will not food. So it's a very different conversation in that case. But when you are actually playing, you need a phone to go ahead outside so that you know exactly you're safe. And I'm sure exactly when you're representing your state, your nation, it's a proud, and nobody will give you the small Nokia 1100. Now it's vanished, but again, just giving an example, they want always a phone which will be having the internet so that they can do the face calls or the what's the video call. So how exactly you think exactly that going to, because why I'm talking about this, because this going to happen for the next 1 month for sure. कोई ना कोई तो troll होगा, कोई ना कोई तो problem ऐसा करेगा जहाँ जहाँ people will post a lot of because last WPL also we saw a lot many Instagram stories that has been like came to the limelight. अब इस साल भी होगा वो, तो means how exactly they should do it so that we can watch more cricket rather than the trollers. We don't want to see the trollers post. We want to see the cricket.
I mean, I imagine then you just do. I remember, and the reason I go back to Kohli is because I remember him saying this. He logs on, he posts something that he wants to, and then he logs off. He does not check comments, and I think that's some degree of self control. I think you have to exert. I think any of us who are on social media have been trolled. I've been trolled with my 1,200 followers. Also, I've been trolled very severely when you say something that people don't like. So the only solution then is to just take a break of social media, because what else you do, right? You have to refrain. You have absolutely no control over what other people do. So the only thing that you can control your reaction. I understand this is very difficult to say for people who are half my age. They lack the control that as adults we do. But there is really no solution. Social media is the necessary evil. These people need it also to connect and also to advertise. Let's be honest. There is revenue to be had from that, which is important for professional cricketers. post
Nice.
and then get off social media, or keep a Finsta. I believe I think Elise Perry has a Finsta, and I'm sure a number of them also have it. They have a public persona and they have a private Instagram. So check your private Instagram if you want to actually use social media, and use your public for, I guess,
I
posting
know, ma'am,
and
you are going to
advertising.
say this. I know you're going to say this, but again, being a social person, it's not because I'm from a digital marketing agency. I'm working in the digital marketing agency for 12 years. I know exactly it's not possible for a social media, especially the person who are like, because there is one thing I said, jo dikhta hai so bikhta hai. Anyways, let's get into our next main topic of WPL tomorrow. Whom I'm asking all you three, first of all, one by one, whom you support? Julie, ma'am. Whom you
Mumbai,
support and
Mumbai
why?
for sure. Mumbai for sure, yeah.
Whom
I've
you're
played
supporting as
for
a player in that? Your
uh,
top three players from Mumbai Indians.
top three players. Has to be Natalie Silverbrunt for sure, number one. Hayley Mathis, number two, and Amelia Kerr, number three. Unfortunately, there's no Indian here, but probably I would like to name our captain, Harmanpreet Kaur. Let us hope that she performs well this time, because as Mohit pointed out, T20 World Cup is coming soon and we want our captain to fire. So these three players along with our captain, Harmanpreet.
Mm-hmm. Vaishnavi, ma'am.
I am also supporting Mumbai. I think they just got a fantastic squad, and they got some of my favorites. Nat Brunt is one of my absolute favorites. So there is no question of not following, supporting them. And I'm a big Pooja Vastrakar fan. So she's there again, and they just got a lot of
Yes.
people that I really like. Yeah, so I think without doubt, Mumbai Indians.
मोहित सर, अब आप मत बोलना मुंबई इंडियन है, कुछ तो चेंज कर दो प्लीज.
नहीं देखिए, बात यह कि जहां अगर हम WPL की बात करें ना, तो क्योंकि सिर्फ 5 टीम है, हर टीम में से 2-3 खिलाड़ी है जो कि फेवरेट्स होते हैं. सो फॉर मी इट्स ऑनेस्टली वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू सपोर्ट दिस वन टीम. सो लाइक आई एम हैप्पी
तो मैं
इफ
बोलता
एनी
कौन सी टीम
टीम
जीतेगी
विंस.
तो आपको अच्छा लगेगा, ये बताओ.
I think if Mumbai Indians win, it'll be good because they have an Indian captain. There are 3 Australian captains. उनके पास कोई ट्रॉफी की कमी नहीं है. तो लास्ट ईयर जब हरमनप्रीत कौर ने फाइनली एक मेजर ट्रॉफी उठाया, बहुत खुशी हुई. तो अगर आरसीबी भी जीत जाए, मुझे कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. आई जस्ट वांट अ इंडियन कैप्टन टू विन. और अगर
ये तो
गुजरात फिर
हमारा
से
हमेशा
स्नेह
आईपीएल में
राणा
यही
को
बोल रहे हैं.
कैप्टन बना दे तो वो भी जीत सकते हैं, मुझे कोई इश्यू नहीं है. But हाँ, एक इंडियन ट्रॉफी उठाए, that'll be good to see.
Nice. So we have a question from Maitri over here because we all Mumbai Indian right now 3-0. Thank you. Now there's a Maitri again asks a question that player to watch out from Delhi. So if anybody is following Delhi Capitals.
Meg Lanning, I think for sure for me, player to watch out, because if we remember last year, इसी समय पे अराउंड उन्होंने इंटरनेशनल क्रिकेट से रिटायरमेंट ले ली थी, चुपचाप T20 वर्ल्ड कप जीत लिया, and then she just hung up her boots from international cricket. I think 26th Feb, if I'm not wrong. T20 World Cup final was the day. But then I feel she's just 31 years of age, but there's still a lot of gas left in her tank. So Meg Lanning, I think, is going to be the player to watch out for. And I don't know, I vividly recall the final match between Mumbai Indians and Delhi Capitals that had happened. And when Shefali Verma's wicket was gone, you had to see the disappointment and the rage on Meg Lanning's face, which you hardly see. She's as cool as a cucumber, but the kind of anger she had, because she knew that probably the match had slipped after Shefali's early dismissal. So I'm hoping that Meg Lanning comes out well again this time. But I don't want Delhi Capitals to win. I want Mumbai Indians to win, but I'm looking at Meg Lanning this time.
But again, we have Rodriguez with Shikha Pandey. So what do you think exactly that the question comes to Delhi? These whom you follow, like already learning, Julie ma'am is following the learning. How about the you two? Do you really think this time they have the potential? Because they have the Jadeja kind of bowler and fielder now, named Radha Yadav. What I follow Radha Yadav because they used to say that she's a brilliant fielder and brilliant.
Actually, I think the 2 Delhi Capitals players to watch out for this year and who are very key if they are to win the title. Juili rightly said Meg Lanning will be very hungry and she's a proven performer. So with Meg Lanning, we know that 200 runs she'll get every season. But the players I am looking forward to are Annabelle Sutherland. DCF put in a lot of faith in her. MI also wanted her but didn't get her at the auction, and she's coming of some great form. Player of the match performance in the T20Is versus India, fresh of a double hundred against South Africa at Perth at the Waka, which is one of the most difficult pitches to bat on. So Annabelle Sutherland is definitely one to watch out for, can contribute in all three departments, can bat anywhere from number 4 to number 8, can bowl in all phases as well. And the other player to watch out for will be Tita Sadhu. Didn't play at all last year, but I think she should be a certainty in Delhi starting 11. And especially at the Chinnaswamy, she has the tools to succeed. Still very young, still a bowler who is dependent on conditions. But I feel at Chinnaswamy, she is somebody who can have a lot of success, especially in the power play.
But we have a question again. We have a very good question, you may say, or something like that. It is from Mathri again. RCB को ट्रॉफी दे दो मैम, शांति मिलेगी उन्हें. ये देखो यहाँ भी बोलेंगे इस साल कप्तान दे. Come on, बताओ, प्लीज बताओ मैम, क्यों नहीं?
I am a Bangalorean, but I do not support RCB. I have some genuine issues with the squad construction they've had in history. I was just thinking about this, like the squad last year also and the squad like this year, and what they did with their, I think there was a bit too much sameness in their bowling attack last time. I think they got Renuka and they got Megan Short, who are essentially the same person. The same person, but the same bowler. And the whole spin bowling thing looked very sort of thin, which, and like Mohit said, it worked out to Sri Lanka's advantage, of course, that, they had not great bowling stocks. But I just don't like their squad construction. They tend, and they have a history of going for one big marquee player, which is great from a marketing perspective. They have the number 18s who are big names. And a lot of it is vibe, but a lot of it is fluff. From Sania Mirza's appointment as mentor, was it? And I mean, again, no disrespect to Sania, she's Sania Mirza, but I don't see the value add over there. So I just think that they concentrate a lot on goodwill and fan and all of that, and very not enough, at least, on cricket. And actually, that is one of the reasons I like Mumbai, because it seems like such a smartly constructed squad, and I actually quite like Delhi also. I think that's a reasonably constructed squad, except for maybe one or two holes that I see. So Maitri, no yaar.
So can we go through the one by one, the all 5 squad for 2 minutes session, if you don't mind? If you want to pick any, like Juili ma'am with, I would like to give Vaishnavi ma'am the RCB, but again first we'll go with the Juili ma'am with MI. Can you please go through and do the dissect the team, exactly what can be go good for them, what can go wrong.
So just wanted to add one more thing what Vaishnavi was saying about RCB. So I just have a maybe quite thought.
RCB is very common everywhere. Everybody wants to talk about RCB. Whichever situation, whichever condition, even the Bangalorean, non-Bangalorean, even somebody is from Bihar, somebody is from Nagaland, they also want to talk about the RCB.
So, but I'm not sure whether मेरा जो कहना है वो, I don't know how acceptable that is, but I think the tagline says play bold, right? If I'm not wrong. So I think if they make a bold move in their captaincy, like Smriti Mandhana, I'm being very honest, I think she was overwhelmed with so many superstars in the team. Sophie Devine, Heather Knight was there back that time, Elise Perry. So I think she was a little bit overwhelmed. If probably they look at a different captain, she already had a couple of captains, Sophie Devine and Heather Knight. This time they don't have a Knight. But probably if they would have made, say, Sophie Devine the captain, probably the results would have been different. Just a thought. I'm not saying that the results would have been different, but maybe it could have been. Any which ways, we'll move to whatever question you had.
But one thing is there, we are getting very good feedback at this moment. For example, PBS is saying RCB winnings would give many means and the world is not ready for it. Then Anurag is saying, Vaishnavi ma'am, being a Bangalorean, I share the similar feelings. And then we have like one more query that can you start with Gujarat? So who wants to take Gujarat? Because I want to, like, people are asking, so I want to go ahead with that. Who wants to start with Gujarat? Mohit bhai, le lo na Gujarat ko.
Yeah, I don't have any problems, but I feel like Gujarat again are a team for whom things have started going wrong even before the season, because their biggest signing at the auction was Kashvi Gautam. She's a player with a lot of potential who is going to play a key role for them because she impressed in the India A versus England A series. She's somebody who can bowl with the new ball, can bowl at the death. So she was ideally going to be probably be their lead Indian pacer. And now that she's ruled out, I think that is a significant blow. They had another blow as well in the form of Lauren Cheetle, who had a great WBPL. Again, is very good with the new ball, swings it into the right hander, has a good slower ball. So that bowling again is a big worry for me. Last year also it was their bowling which was a huge problem. This year also their spin department I would say is quite good. Snehrana is as good as it gets when it comes to off spin. Tanuja Kanwar is one of the better left arm spinners in India. The only reason she's not played for India yet is because of how good Ekta Bisht and Rajeshwari Gaikwad were. In most other eras, she would have played at least once for India. So I don't think their spin bowling or their batting is the problem, but their fast bowling again doesn't do it for me at least. So I think if they improve on their fifth place finish, it would be a great result for them. If they can make the playoffs, nothing like it. But again, Beth Mooney as a leader is completely unproven. She's not somebody who captains in the WBBL or in the WNCL as well. She doesn't know what the Indian players do, what their strengths are, how to utilize them. So how quickly she learns that, how she is as a leader, will be important for them. And also Beth Mooney playing the entire season, because last time she got injured in the first match and she's one of the few irreplaceable players in world cricket right now. So Gujarat will need a 300 run season from Beth Mooney if they are to finish in the top two.
The same question has been asked where we are from. That as a Mohit Bhai said that why not the Indian cricketer being a captain? They're asking that why Gujarat is not considering Sneha Rana or Deol as their captain.
Marketing.
ये बहुत बड़ी चीज है. Seriously.
I mean,
that's the big thing actually. That's true.
Yeah. I mean,
when you talk
Rana
about
has
this,
a ton of captaincy experience.
Let's start with RCB then. I wanted Juili ma'am to talk about the MI, but again, I want to start with the RCB now. I want to see that. Come on. Come on.
RCB, full of superstars.
RCB. Come on, let's start.
Yeah, the chance has already started, I feel. I think one of the biggest advantages for RCB going into this WPL is they are playing at home, literally their home. So let us hope that at least the 12th man in case of RCB, which is the crowd, it is in their favor, and that crowd is going to play a pivotal role, I feel, for RCB. And I feel one of the keys to RCB's success is, again, I'll highlight on Smriti Mandhana's captaincy, because I like her as a player. She's superb as an opening batter for India, but when it comes to leadership, or when it comes to leading from the front, I think there's a slight gap or a loophole that she needs to fill. And if she's able to improve as a captain, probably we'll see altogether different performance from RCB as a unit. But again, on paper, this team looks good. I feel they have Elise Perry, who's been in red hot form. She was doing well in India when the series happened, bilateral series between India and Australia happened in December, Jan. So she was exceptional. Then again, they have Sophie Devine also, who's good, but I think they are going to miss a bit of Heather Knight, though she did not have a good season last time. But having Heather Knight at say number 3, that's a pivotal role that they'll miss. But overall, RCB, the bowling, I feel they have Shikha Pandey. The experience of Shikha Pandey is there, but then she has not played enough for India in the recent past. So again, a lot of responsibility will be on the shoulders of Shikha Pandey, but let us see how she is able to materialize or capitalize on the opportunities that she's being given. So I think the focus for RCB is going to be post more and more runs, score as many runs as they can, because their bowling, I feel, looks a little weaker here.
I think the more than but we have a question also that regarding the Renuka Singh. How exactly you think exactly that Renuka Singh hasn't done well off late? So do you think exactly this is the year gonna to be Renuka Singh, or how?
So I tend to draw parallels with men's cricket also many times. So what I see of Renuka Singh Thakur is more of like a Bhuvneshwar Kumar, what he has done for India.
We
new
always
ball,
like feel like that.
Renuka Singh Thakur is going to swing the new ball. She'll get 1, 2, 3 wickets also, we have seen with the new ball in first or second over of a spell. But when the ball gets old, she's very ineffective. So I think the important thing for RCB is probably just use up her 4 overs inside the first 8 overs that they have. I know that is going to be a big risk because you don't have anybody bowling at the death. But then that is the gamble I think that RCB will have to take.
Nice,
I
nice,
think like
nice.
that's where captaincy is key because like Juili said, their tagline is play bold, and if RCB want to play bold, they should use players in their best positions. Last year also like that team on paper was great, but they didn't use players in their best positions, nor did they give a few players a long enough run, which ultimately cost them. Like for example, like if you just take somebody like Komal Zanzad, she's one of the best medium pacers on the Indian domestic circuit, left armor as well. What RCB did was played her just once, gave her two overs against a red hot Elisa Healy. Anybody can like go for runs in that. They never gave her another opportunity. Similarly, they didn't use Preeti Bose well as well. Like she has a very set role for Railways. So I think this is where captaincy is key, and this is what Smriti needs to get better at, understanding the players and what their strengths are. She does a fairly good job of it for Maharashtra because she knows her players well. She knows what areas they are comfortable bowling in, what fields they need. But at RCB, that is where captaincy is going to be key because on paper they have a team to at least be in the playoffs. I wouldn't say they have the best team or even the second best team, but the team is definitely good enough to be a very strong contender for the playoffs.
Nice, nice. So I think Vaishnavi ma'am survived this. Lovely. Let's Vaishnavi. I'm giving the another one. UP Warriors.
Yeah, I think this is also a team that I had a lot of general issues with just with the squad construction in itself. I was just thinking, even back to last time, the fast bowling was thin in general, but at least they had Shabnam Ismail. Now they no longer have her.
Mm.
Lauren Bell couldn't get a game last year. I don't know how they would have used her had they had their services, but as it is, they don't have their services. So essentially, when you think of high quality pace, they have Talia Migra, possibly, and they have Anjali Anjali Sarvani, right? They have Anjali Sarvani, and I cannot think of any. I mean, their fast bowling unit looks, for lack of a better word, pretty horrible. So I don't know what they're going to do. They're very, very reliant on spin again. I mean, they have Eccleston, they have Gaikwad, both excellent. Deepi Sharma, top class. But they just seem to have a lot of spin. The other problem I think they also have is who is going to make the runs? All the people making runs for UP are overseas, and unfortunately for them, they can only fit 4 of them. How they're going to fit them, I don't know. They have possibly the best finisher in the tournament in Grace Harris, but are they going to be able to fit her into this? Because they've got to play Eccleston, obviously. They've got to play Healy without a doubt. Megra also, I think anybody with half a brain would pay Talia Megra, which means then they have to figure out, do they play? They also have Wyatt, they also have Attapattu, and they also have let's say I think Harris, I think, to fit in. So how are they going to fit 6 high quality overseas players, most of whom are top order batters, and very little from the Indian contingent in terms of how many runs they can make? I think Vrinda Dinesh had a good T20 senior women's T20, but are they going to play her where she usually plays? Or are they going to fit her somewhere in the middle and try to make her do a role that doesn't come naturally to her? So I don't know. I think at least there are some questions on Kiran Navgiri also, I believe, because yes, she can hit a really long ball, but she doesn't seem to, I mean, there's a lot of, she seems to be very much in the, I mean, binary, that is either 4 or 6 or it's 0. And we've seen that in the WPL last year. We also saw it in the women's T20 exhibition or whatever they call that interim tournament, right? So not super confident about Kiran Navgiri. So net, I mean, lots of amazing spinners, terrible pace attack, super crazy over reliance on overseas, I think, and just for whatever reason, 4 or 5, 3 overseas openers in the squad. So yeah, no, lots of middle, lots of top order overseas players.
So this is
I'm not thinking they're going to do well.
So what exactly you guys think about it? Because Julie ma'am actually helped dodged off Vaishnavi ma'am's RCB wala stuff. So now you tell exactly Julie ma'am that you saved her last time. Now exactly say exactly. Do you think exactly that UP has any kind of opportunity this year? Because they have McGrath and also El Sahili, McGrath, Safi. Everyone is there. Why exactly we are looking into that they cannot win? The way we are right now talking about that, everybody is saying the MI can win, and apart from that, everybody is having their own problems with the team settlements. UP is having the same team problems, Julie ma'am?
Uh, I think if they could have made a
Okay.
better use of Shweta
Healy
Sehrawat,
talked. Healy talked last time a lot about like team managements.
yeah,
She tried to kind of talk with so many local, domestic players. They told that domestic player has to come up, something like that. They made a lot of stories, lots of things. Healy last time she was very animated last time, if I'm not wrong. Whatever I saw a little bit over there last year. What do you think exactly that this time she will be able to ensure that UP will come as the same UP Uttar Pradesh?
so I'm not sure what she's exactly going to do. But if you ask me, I would like to make one change. As I was talking about Shweta Sehrawat, I think in WPL 2023 she was batting. I think at number 5, 6, or 7. And if you would have seen the India Under 19 World Cup campaign that happened in 2023, she was the vice captain of the team. She was opening the batting, and opening is where she get most of the runs. So if UP management is able to understand which player to fit in which block, I think that could have helped their cause. So probably a Shweta Sehrawat opening with Elisa Healy, that could have been a good start for them, and maybe they would have been able to capitalize on whatever starts they would have got. So I feel that every player needs to be given the role, and that clarity needs to be given by the UP management. And if they are able to do that, I think getting success should not be an issue for this team.
I have one
Nice.
point to add to what Julie said is that they actually did start with Shweta in the initial couple of matches. Shweta did open with Elisa Healy, and then she wasn't. I mean, she wasn't getting the fast starts that they expected because I mean she's a kid and she needs some time to get into the role, and they very quickly replaced her with
Devika.
Devika.
Devika. With
Vaidya.
Devika, yes, with Devika, yeah.
Yeah,
So
I think when it comes to pace bowling, I think Juili will be able to talk better about this. But the one player to watch out for when it comes to UP is Saima Thakur, Mumbai girl in great form, played a key role in their win in the senior women's T20 trophy. So I think Saima will be somebody who be will be key for UP because Anjali is not played at all in the last year. She's been out with injury. So I don't know how fit she is, or more importantly, how much match practice she's had. So I think UP are going to be a lot like the international teams of, say, Sri Lanka or Pakistan or even Bangladesh. They don't have any other choice but to use spin to win. And they have serious quality there, like Vaishnavi said. If I was UP, I would go in with 4 spinners, 3 left arm spinners you can easily play because most teams are stacked with right handers. So Sophie Eccleston is obviously the best in the world. Rajeshwari Gaikwad is one of India's best ever. Gohar Sultana again is somebody who is very wily, has great control, will be very good on the venues where the WPL is going to be played this year. So they can easily play all three. Deepthi obviously is a must have in that 11 for her bowling alone, and play one of Saima Thakur or Anjali Sarvani. So they will be reliant on individual brilliance rather than having serious quality from numbers 1 to 11. Last year they finished third largely because of some great individual displays from the likes of Eccleston, Grace Harris, even Talia Magra. So they'll be needing that same thing again because when if you look at player by player from number 1 to 11, they don't have the kind of quality that MIDC or even RCB do. So that is the challenge for them. But T20 is a format where individual brilliance can get you far. So on paper, they don't look like one of the stronger teams, probably one of the more weaker teams. But then, yeah, they did make the playoffs last year, so we'll have some confidence from there.
wow. It means that UP still doesn't have, but with the players like of Haley and all, we don't have that belief that they can be the match winner. It says a lot about what exactly the top two teams are, and we can see that we already talk about the three teams. I will not even touch Mumbai Indians, and I'm not going to give Mumbai Indians to Julie ma'am for sure. The way Julie ma'am helped Vaishnavi ma'am on this, I will give Delhi Capitals to you, ma'am, because what we heard that Delhi Capital and the Mumbai Indians are the one of the toughest team at this moment. So please, you describe about the Delhi Capitals, Julie ma'am. Yes, you.
So before I remember, before the start of WPL 2023, I was I think doing one of the shows with one of the news channels, and they asked me that whom do you think which team is going to win WPL 2023? And being a Mumbaikar myself, I said that probably Delhi Capitals is going to be the team that is going to win because that team looked strong on paper, had an exceptional captain in Meg Lanning who has umpteen number of trophies in her cabinet. So for me, Delhi Capitals was going to be the team to win, and honestly, I was a bit disappointed with the way the final turned out to be. But this time, I feel WPL is this time Delhi Capitals is going to be the team to beat for rest of the teams. I feel they have excellent team led by a superb captain in Lanning. Then they have Shefali Verma, who's in a bit of a patchy form, I would say. But when it comes to WPL and playing alongside Meg Lanning, I don't know. She comes up with a different mindset. They are like ice and fire, I would say. This pair and Delhi Capitals is indeed blessed to have this opening batting pair in Shefali and Meg Lanning. Calming influence of Meg Lanning and the fire of Shefali, that is superb. Then we have Jemima Rodrigues, who has been in superb form for Mumbai at the domestic level. Also at the zonals, she has done exceptionally well, and also for India, she was good. So I feel that these three players, and of course Marizan Kaap, Jess Jonathan, also you have in their ranks. I think so. This team I think if you have to fit all the puzzles in the jigsaw puzzle, I feel they have the perfect jigsaw puzzle in their camp. And Delhi Capitals is, I think, they have a superb chance of winning this time. So Marizan Cup, I would say, Jess Jonathan, Meg Lanning, Shefali, Jemima, and I think if I'm missing out on any players, I'm sorry, but I feel that these players are going to be the key for Delhi
I think
Capitals' success.
I think Tanya Bhatia is also there as the wicket keeper. So exactly there's another. Uh, but I think Tanya Bhatia T20 she didn't do that great batting. I think somewhere down the line ODIs she does well in the
Yeah.
test, but in T20s he has to be established as a hitter.
But
She
as a
did
keeper,
opening also.
as a keeper, she's exceptional, I would say. Thankless job of wicket keeping, but she does that exceptionally well. T20 World Cup in 2020, Australia, you remember the four dismissals that she had in the very first match against Australia, all thanks to Tanya Bhatia. So behind the stumps, she's super. With the bat, not the kind of format that we would like to see Tanya Bhatia playing T20, but one day she's good, but behind the stumps, she's excellent.
That actually required still the wicketkeeper has to be a wicketkeeper's job at first than the another one. Although she does, I think she comes to the top of the batting also. It can maybe helpful. Rashmi ma'am, Mumbai Indians, your team. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Julie also to say that I think Delhi Capitals is an excellent team. I think if you were to even last year when you were thinking, I think everybody was thinking it'd probably be one of these two teams who would win because I think on paper and I think in terms of the way they constructed their squads, they are both I think very very good quality teams. Um, I think from Mumbai Indians, I think the one thing that I love about them is how many all rounders in a very Australia style, without actually having any Australians, they have managed to construct a squad that has all rounders of virtually every ability. You have an off spinning all rounder, you have fast bowling all rounder, you have two fast bowling all rounders, India and overseas, you have a leg spinning all rounder. I think they've managed to get everything. I'm also extremely, and now they managed to get Izzy, and so I think Izzy Wong was quite good in the last WPL, but she sort of like Moritz had fallen off the wagon a little bit in terms of even her place in England's team. But they've also now backed that up, or let's say they put Shabnam Ismail in front of her. So now even the pace bowling thing is looking pretty good. So I think that's good. I think the only, and also I think they've also finally gotten a left arm wrist spinner, which is just exciting in general for the women's game because you never see those, right? I mean, even right now in the men's game, there are two or three. To see one in the women's game is super exciting. So personally, really keen to see Amandeep Kaur. I think that will be super exciting. Other than that, I think in general, I think they've also largely gotten people batting at and or bowling at fairly decent roles. I think they've, without getting into the whole finisher concept or whatever, which I think might bite them this year because last time everybody was in great form. So you didn't need a finisher in the type of, let's say, Grace Harris or Ashley Gardner. But everybody did their job superbly. So I think from my perspective, at least the struggle they'll have is if they're able to, all of them are able to keep their form. Because, they would just come out of the gate swinging, starting with Hayley Matthews. Just everybody was making runs. This year, of course, Harmanpreet can't seem to buy a run. She has just had like the most shocking run up to this tournament, of course. I think another problem is that their domestic players are a little bit superfluous to their current needs and that they're just sort of running around the park. We've discussed Jinty, we've discussed Homera, we've discussed all of these. They're not doing a lot. So in that sense, and again without being offensive to any of these players, the team seems to be carrying a couple of players, a couple of domestic players, because they've not figured out how to utilize them. It would be great if they could be utilized better, because you've seen Manjunath, for example, playing for India, and she's very handy. She's been now part of, I think, a couple of last over wins. This series against Australia, I think, and once versus New Zealand when they were touring New Zealand, I believe, before the 2022 ODI World Cup. So I think that's one challenge they have, how to use their domestic players in the best possible fashion. And second, if they can hold on to their form, honestly. Other than that, yeah, I think they may be a tad over reliant on their all rounders. In a sense, it's a very Australia-like squad. So it comes with the pitfalls and the perks of having multiple all rounders. But I mean, I think net, I'm
I
quite
can
happy
say
with the squad.
one
I think
thing.
it's a
I
good
can
squad.
say one thing and see Vaishali ma'am's expressions. And I'm telling you, I'm getting messages in our group, in Vaishali ma'am, in that group, and the way people are like praising and talking about this particular conversation, that they are such insightful, and that is amazing. Same condition I got from Sarvesh. He's told that he starting a petition to have this panel regularly on this channel. I always would love to have this conversation, which I was not having that. What to say? I was not the original host today. Unfortunately, the doctor was supposed to be host.
But you did
He
well,
joined
but
from the
thanks,
start
thanks for
finally.
filling in.
Thank you so much. So we have a like good query here that from Sarvesh only, that which team do you think is over reliant on overseas talent? Anyone can
I
go
think
ahead.
I think most teams are reliant on overseas talent because that is the nature of a
This
tournament
franchise
like the
league.
WPL or the IPL. But since the question is about over reliance, I think we touched upon it briefly at the beginning of the UP Warriors review. I think they are the one team who are the most reliant on overseas talent because they have a few good Indian players, but either they are not playing in position like the likes of Shweta Sehrawat or even Kiran Navgire, because both of them are openers, or Kiran bats at 6 for Maharashtra sometimes. So they are not playing those roles for UP. So I think that is the problem there, that the players that they have are not bad, but they are not getting to play the roles they are familiar in. So UP are the team that's very over reliant. And I'd say even somebody like Gujarat is very over reliant on the overseas players, especially in the batting department, because apart from Dayal and Hemlata, they don't have an Indian batter who can consistently score at 125 in T20 cricket. And looking at the kind of pitches that were there for the last season and how the Chinnaswamy plays usually, you need a lot of batters to score over 120. So I think UP and Gujarat are for me the two teams that are the most over reliant on their overseas players.
Nice. That is the thing. So we have one particular question that we talk about so many. We'll talk about for a 5 minute also later, that which are the new players we are looking into. But somewhere down the line, there's a very good question about the one senior pro, that the question said by Doc only, that Veda Krishnamurthy's big comeback. How you see this? What exactly you guys feel about it?
Think for me it's come like quite a surprise. Last season also she was there at the auction. Veda Krishnamurthy, all of 32 years of age. Still, I would say she has many years left in a cricketing career. 4 to 5 years, I believe she has, and quite shocking it was the way she was dropped. She was a good middle order batter for India. We know what contribution she had during the 2017 World Cup. Though we all talk about Harmanpreet Kaur and her 170 was not out, but Veda Krishnamurthy also had a good role to play in the 2017 World Cup, which India went all the way to the finals. Her fielding is exceptional. She is a dependable middle order batter, I feel. She has a good head over her shoulders as well, and a street smart cricketer. So it is really nice that I think somebody like Gujarat Giants, which has the likes of Mithali Raj, who has seen her quite closely from close quarters how Veda Krishnamurthy plays, and they have taken her in the Gujarat Giants camp. So very excited to see her, though it will be quite challenging for her also because she was doing commentary. Now she's back on the field, so let us see how fit she is, and I'm sure that she'll be willing to go, and whatever opportunity that she gets, she'll be looking to do most of it.
You guys feel the same, Mohit bhai and ma'am?
Yeah, I think as far as Veda is concerned, the problem has been her form, especially on the domestic level, hasn't been the best. Like, I think Veda also would admit that she hasn't got the amount of runs that she herself would like to get, especially in the T20 format. But for a team like Gujarat, she can play a very key role because we just spoke about it. They don't really have a lot of experienced Indian batters. That is one area where they really lack. Veda has also been a very successful captain for Karnataka at the domestic level. So she can also be like a good information source on other teams, the other Indian domestic players, as well as how to use the Indian players in the Gujarat team better because she's a good reader of the game. You can see it when she does commentary also. She's somebody who thinks about the game, who's uh, who's helped a lot of young players at Karnataka as captain. So I think there is a lot of value in her just as a senior player. I don't know if she would be a sure starter in the Gujarat 11, but like Juili said, she's one of the few Indian batters who has had success in that number 5, 6, 7 position, which very few Indians have. So I think those positions are where she can bat for Gujarat, and she has a very good record at both Chinnaswamy and Arun Jaitley Stadium in T20s. So the numbers are there, and Mithali Raj is, like Julie said, somebody who's fully aware of Veda's immense potential and what her strengths are. So I wouldn't be surprised if Gujarat have Veda as their first choice number 6 or 7 batter.
Mohit bhai, are you there?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So altogether, we all are welcoming her, and that's really good. Somewhere down the line, that's really good. Manjunath bhai, you exactly wanted to have some questions, so this is the opportunity for you to go ahead because you told me
No,
that you
like
had.
I don't know if you had discussed the auctions before, but then Annabelle Sutherland got a very good like bid. So we are seeing good bids coming for even WPL and some domestic players. So like I just wanted like quick take on whether how do you feel that the money is coming into WPL through WPL, so it will give some financial security to cricketers.
Take the question answer, no problem.
Yeah, anyone can go. Like if you have any take on that.
Yeah, I think that is a good thing that the source of income is there for the domestic players also. Unfortunately for Kashvi Gautam, who was the highest player to get the most number of money, 2 crore rupees, but unfortunately due to back strain, she'll not be a part of the WPL this time. But it is good to see money coming into the women's game because uh, though the women's game has been going on for quite a long time, uh, something as basic as match fees was also not there when back then when I used to play in. I'm talking about say 2005 to 2010 12 that period, but now you are getting good match fees for T20 games, one day games, as well as slowly and steadily they are starting with multi-day format as well for the women's game. So I feel money is a big factor, and I feel that earlier when there was no money, not many girls tend to pursue cricket as a profession. That was the biggest stumbling block or the roadblock for the families to allow their daughters to go and play the sport. But now, with money coming in, more and more parents they want to push their girls to cricket coaching academies. They want their girls to become India players and also WPL players. So I feel that this is a good thing that is happening for women's cricket in general.
That's reality. Anyways, that's the first thing when I opened the talk. I clearly mentioned जो दिखता है सो बिकता है. Ultimately, WPL has come. I'm sure exactly the way WPL 1 was there, 2, 3, 4, 5, and by the time we'll cross the 6, 7, I'm sure exactly we'll see lot many things has been changed in the world cricket of women, because it may be that we'll see lots of test matches, because I personally wants to watch women's test matches, because it's not and that should be 5 days. I'm sorry, but it has to be the 5 days. 4 days, may I don't know, for whatever reasons, not getting that kind of what to say touch. But again, 5 day test matches for them. What do you think exactly? Should be there or not? Anyways, we'll have a discussion on this test matches and the 4 day matches on that part for sure. But that also, the test matches has to be more and more much better and easier, because we saw the last test match in India. It was amazing actually. The way people have like rigorously asked that why everybody cannot go into the stadium. First time I saw that people are actually started uh, with a strong opinion that gates should be open. You take money, but open the entire gate, not the one or two sides of the of the stadium. That was the one of the things. It's really appreciable. But again, when we are going into that, there is a one question has come from Mr. Mukesh. He followed, I think, most of the sports wherever India played rigorously. His question is, which all Indian wicketkeeper batters are there to watch out for apart from Yastika?
I
The
think,
obvious answer is Richa. Right?
yeah, I was just
Yeah,
going to
Richa
say
She
is
is
that
like
playing
Richa
Saurabh,
obviously.
that comes even the player who, even the guys who doesn't watch cricket, even the not know cricket, they will know the Richa, because the way her name had come in last few like last 1 year actually, the way the World Cup also, the way she scored runs and all, 7 ball 14 15, or the strike rate is always more than 150. That's what exactly that her name has to be there. But apart from that,
I think we are only going to see three Indian wicket keepers because both Beth Mooney and Elisa Healy are captains and both are wicket keepers. So they are obviously going to play and keep wicket as well. So the other three then are Yastika, Richa, and Tanya Bhatia. I think we've spoken a fair bit already about Tanya Bhatia as well. Like Juili said, when it comes to pure glove work, she's definitely probably the
Mhm.
best wicket keeper in India, if not the best, definitely in the top two or three. And the great thing about Delhi Capitals, like Julie was saying, because of the quality of batting options that they have, they can easily bat Tanya Bhatia at number 10 or 11. So they can play her as a pure wicket keeper. They don't need her batting at all. So I think that is also a win-win for Tanya because that is what she's really good at. She gets to show her entire skill with the gloves, and there is no pressure on her with the bat because if you're batting at 10 or 11, you don't really have that pressure of contributing a lot of runs. The only cases where she would be coming out to bat is if the team suffers a collapse, which I don't see happening too often with this Delhi Capitals team. So yeah, the other two wicket keepers to watch out for then would be Tanya and Richa, obviously.
Nice. That exactly. I think. And do we have any apart from the WPL level, even next 1 or 2 years, if you talk apart from these three, do we have any wicket keepers which in line you would like to watch them? You want to tell to our viewers that yes, these are the players to look out for, especially in terms of wicket keeping, because nowadays wicket keeping in demand a lot for a unique kind form of cricket.
I think the one player who was very unfortunate to miss out on the WPL, who is a wicketkeeper, is Uma Chetri because she was brilliant in the India A versus England A series. Fairly good with the gloves, opens the batting, scores very quickly, especially in the power play. So for me, like if I had to give out one wicketkeeper to watch out for in the next few years, it would be Uma Chetri, apart from the ones we just spoke about.
I think
It's amazing.
apart from Uma Chetri, which I tend to agree with Mohit what you said, I think one more wicketkeeper that we have is Imrani Roy. I think she comes from West Bengal. I think she was a part of the India squad when they toured Bangladesh, if I'm not wrong, in 2021 or 22. She's again a good attacking player, good behind the stumps as well. But I think after that series, she did not get too many chances. So I think Indrani Roy could be another player to look out for. Good domestic talent, young as well. She has a good stature also. She has the physique of an athlete. She's a strong girl. She can hit the long ball as well. So probably Indrani Roy and as Mohit pointed out to Uma Chetri. These could be a couple of wicket keepers that we have.
I think our viewers must look into it in a specific way that in coming days also India is having lot many wicket keeping options and offers to get from this girl. So what? So as we are now, it's already been around 12 plus, and really thank you so much for your time. However, we are getting into the last section that is called predictions. So what exactly the prediction is like same? Am I, or am I versus DC? Some already few guys are asked. So is this the same, or you guys want to see some change? Anybody else, do you think? Because I found out one thing about the entire discussion. We talk a lot about RCB, whatever reason it is. We talk somewhere down the line about, am not saying Delhi Capital. But the team who actually nobody wanted to touch or talk very little about is the Gujarat Titans. So can we see exactly any chance that Gujarat is having an opportunity to play in the semis? Okay. There's no comment then. So it means that prediction is nothing much to go ahead with because already 3-0 with
No,
MI. And when
I
you
would like that UP Warriors to do well, but unfortunately,
already
Devika Vaidya is not playing this year. So yeah, she got released from the franchise. So she was one of my favorites. Like I used to follow.
nice. So uh, what I can say, I must say that predictions में ज़्यादा कुछ रहा नहीं because everybody was so already told that कि am I. But before ending tomorrow's match, what do you feel and how you are looking into it? Because when we are talking about all those stuff, we have a match tomorrow, Mumbai Indians versus Delhi Capitals. They might meet again in finals. So what do you guys think about it? Can we see exactly as a finals preparations, or we can see as a normal match?
Think it will be repeat. I think of WPL 2023 final. I feel Mumbai Indians could have the upper hand over Delhi Capitals, but let us see how they start because if you remember to WPL 2023 first match between these two teams, Mumbai Indians won. Second match was won by DC, and the finals was again won by Mumbai Indians. So if you calculate that way, win loss win. So it will be Mumbai Indians who will lose against Delhi Capitals, but let us not go that way. But I feel Mumbai Indians have a stronger chance tomorrow over the Delhi Capitals.
Okay. Out of these five teams, who will be the dark horse team according to you, apart from MI and Delhi Capital? Who can be?
No, Mumbai and Delhi cannot be dark horses. They
No, no,
they
no. I'm not talking about them.
they
Come
are
on. Apart from them.
They are white
इतना तो मैं
white
इतना तो मैं
stallions. They
जान
are.
गया आप लोगों के साथ
Yeah.
लास्ट 1 घंटे में बात करके कि मैं अगर एमआई और डीसी को किसी भी तरीके से अंडरस्टेटेड करता हूँ I will get a summon from Vaishnavi ma'am for sure.
No, but they are very
So
strong
not
squad
waiting.
also. They are strong squads also. You cannot discount them.
No, I think that is where probably Gujarat are a team who can surprise. Like, I don't see them going all the way, but they have some great individual quality, especially when it comes to the overseas players. So you can't really rule out them beating the other teams at any given point. Like, they are a team which has been hit by injury in both seasons, and that will probably have its impact. But there is enough quality there for them to like surprise and have at least a couple of wins. Like, I wouldn't say that it's beyond them to beat one of MI or DC in one of the league stage matches. So I think Gujarat definitely, for me, are the team who can surprise.
Okay. We have a very good one question that not question, the predictions that will be RCB versus Delhi for the final. Then we got then we same guy has told that Push Ponley told that the Mumbai Indians will not play the finals. I know exactly people are not happy here. They're just sarcastically laughing that bro, you don't know exactly. You don't know. It's a Mumbai. So anyways, but Nikhil Bhai is asking. He's a UP Warrior fan. He's a fan. So exactly, Healy will be challenged. But hopefully, Brinda, Saima, Kiran all come good. All come good. So we all only talk about it that exactly the team is having the potential. But again, yes. But with this, I'm really thankful to you all. And if all well, we will have. We would love to have a mid WPL session if you guys are available, and I will connect with you in person. So till that time, I'm really personally thank you on behalf of Quick Chatter Live and Manju Bhai and And Vallabh, thank you Mohit bhai, thank you Julie ma'am, thank you Vaishnavi ma'am. We all will be connect for sure. And again, thank you so much and Shubh Ratri. Good night. Thank you so much.